You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.
Welcome back to our AZ-104 exam prep series. In this video, we will cover how to manage Azure subscription and governance. So let's go through the key concepts one by one. All right, so now let's talk about policies in Azure. Now, this is actually a very powerful service, or you can say tool, which builds a governing boundary on your infrastructure. So policies are for governance. You create restriction, and everyone have to stay under that restrictive boundary. So right now, we are back on my Azure portal, and let me show you some resources here. So I have this resource group called Demo in Canada Central, and then I have a resource in Canada Central. Don't worry about what type of resource it is. We are not going to focus on that. Just focus on the policy part. So I have subscription, I have resource group, I have resource. Now, where will you apply policy? Well, you will go to policy or search for it. Then you will go to definitions. This is where you will find the policy you want to apply. And the nice thing is that Azure already have most of the scenario covered. Not just most, almost every scenario covered here. There's so many policies. Now, when you click on a policy, you can also read about it. So it describes what this policy will do. Okay? So you go to definitions and find the policy you want to apply. Let's say you want to apply this. Allowed location. You search for it. You can filter it. Now look at this one. Allowed location for resource group. This means that according to your configuration, specific location will be allowed to create resource group. Apart from that, you cannot create resource group anywhere else. And then you have allowed location. Well, this one, just allowed location, is for resources. So you can create policies such as allowed location for resource group is Canada Central, but allowed location for resources is UK South. That means resource groups must be created in Canada Central, and resources can be created in UK South. Now, whenever you find the policy, you click on it. Okay, for example, allowed location, and then you click on assign policy. Then you will select your scope. Now, either you can apply the policy on subscription, or you can also target a specific resource group. If you apply it on the subscription, it will inherit to all the resource group. If you apply it on the resource group, then you are targeting one resource group. Okay, select. So I only selected my subscription, let's say. Then you have exclusion. Let's say you want to select 50 resource groups and exclude only one. In that case, you will not apply it one by one to all 50 resource groups. You just apply it to the subscription. It will get inherited to all the resource group, and then you can exclude the specific resource group you want to be out. That is your exclusion. And this is where you can define the policy. You can again make changes here if you want to select some other policy. Then you can put description here and also the assignment name. Then you can either enforce it, or you can just create a policy and keep it in a, I will say, frozen state. It will not apply. Okay, once you finish this, the next is the parameter. This is where you select the policy parameter. This one is allowed location, so the parameter will show you all the valid location for Azure regions, right? Here you can select any region you want. For example, I select Australia East. So you can only create resources in Australia East. Well, you can also select multiple regions if you want. So let's say you selected a region.
How about France? Yeah, France Central. Click Next. This is where you can also configure some remediation. This is just advanced options here. Here you can use automation to remediate a certain compliance issue. For example, you create a policy, and due to which a machine cannot be created in a specific environment. So you can run a script or automation to maybe move that machine back to a valid environment so that it gets compliant. Here you put a message you want to showcase to the users. So I can say demo. You review it, and you create it. And that's it. A policy is created and it's applied. Now, to check how many assignments you have, you will go to Assignments. Now, I applied two policies, one in front of you and one already is there. So the two policies are allowed resource deployment region and allowed locations. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and test the policy. If I go to resource group, these are in Canada Central, but I'm not touching resource group right now. But if I go to the resource, it is in Canada Central as well. But I said that you can apply or you can create this in France, right? So let's go ahead and create a new resource. Demo, I'll call it demo vnet02 in France. Click Next, Next, Next. I don't care about the IP address. We are not learning how to create network at this point. Just the policy. It got validated, and I will click on Create. And let's see what happens. Deployment is in progress. Almost there. And it is created. Now let's create one more. I'll call it demo vnet03 in a random country. Let's say, let's go to Italy. Click Next, 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 Next. Again, the validation will pass because the syntax and my template is all correct. Let's click on Create. Oops, there's an error. So what happened here? Well, it's not showing me the complete description of the error, but this is your policy stopping you to create something in a false region because, again, the policy will not allow it. And this is how policy makes sure that you follow the compliance. Now, what if you want to check the compliance? Well, go to Policy, and in the Overview page, you will check the compliance. And as you can see, so if you go to your policy, that is allowed location, as you can see that my network voucher, which is again a resource group always created when you create a virtual network. So this is just the extra stuff. But here, my demo VNet, which is in Canada Central, is not compliant with my policy. Of course, because the policy is for France. So this is how you can also see the compliance dashboard to look at the resources which are not following the protocol. And that's it. This is your policy. Very simple to configure, but it becomes a very important or critical tool for governance. All right, so now just imagine that you are the administrator and you created your infrastructure. You spend months to create your architecture here. You have resource groups, you have resources, and whatnot. What if someone, maybe with proper permission, intentionally or by accident, or even you by accident, select the resource and then click on Delete? Pay attention, I'm selecting one resource. So once I push the command, now I cannot stop it. it's already gone. So this resource will be deleted. And it's gone. All right? Or what if you clicked on delete resource group instead of clicking on delete? Because when you select multiple resources and click delete, only the targeted resources will be deleted. But in a rush, you clicked on delete resource group. You copied it, you pasted here, you clicked on delete, and you clicked on delete. That's it. There is no turning back. This is where resource locks comes in. So you can put a lock on your resource or resource group for this kind of situation to protect your environment. So when you go to your resource group or resources and search for lock, you will see this option. Click on it. Here, click on add. And now you have two options. Either put a read-only lock or delete lock. Let's say I put read-only lock. Done. So this read-only lock is on my demo resource group. Now what will happen? If I try to go to my demo resource group and select this resource and click on delete, and I cannot delete it. So the lock prevented me to delete a resource. And same thing goes for the whole resource group. If you want to delete it, no, you cannot, because there is a lock on it. Okay, so that means read-only lock will not allow you to delete any resource. But what if you want to create something? Let's try. No, you cannot create because it is read-only lock. So now you know, if you put a read-only lock on your resource group, it will prevent you to delete the environment as well as change anything. Plus, it also gets inherited to all the resources under that resource group. Now, if you apply read-only lock on a resource, that means you cannot change or delete that resource. But can you add more resources in the resource group? The answer is of course, because you didn't apply read-only lock on the resource group. It will not inherit up, it goes down. And can you delete the resource group then? The answer is, of course you can send or push the deletion of the whole resource group. But what will happen? When you delete the resource group, in that case, all the resources on which there is no lock, they will get deleted. But in the end, you will get this error that the resource group cannot be deleted because one or more resources inside it is actually locked or are locked. All right, so that was your read-only lock. Now let's go back to our resource group, click on demo, and then go to lock and remove this lock. For that, you just click on delete. Or you can also click on edit and change it to delete lock and click OK. Now the lock is changed. Delete lock applied on resource group will again inherit to all the resources inside this resource group. But there's a catch. Now, if you want to create something, well, you will be allowed to build on top of it. Demo vnet 03. Next, 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 next. Review it and create. And as you can see, demo, oh sorry, not demo, deployment is in progress. And here we go. Now you can create. What if I want to now delete it? Here's the new one, right? So I will click on it and I say, I don't need it anymore. Nope, there's a lock. You cannot delete it. So now you can provision, but you cannot decommission. So that's it. This is what the lock will do for you. Again, very easy to apply, but a very strong tool to protect your environment from intentional or accidental deletion. Now I'm going to remove it. Let's go to virtual network. I don't need you for this demo, maybe for next demo. Hey, you still see this error? Don't worry, the locks are removed. It will just take maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds to refresh. If it still says you cannot delete it, just sign out and sign in or refresh your page. How about now? Now you can delete it. So that was your resource lock. All right, so let's talk about tags, that is Azure tags. Well, before I show you how to add tags, listen to this. When you go for a vacation, you take your luggage with you, right? And especially when it is actually a check-in luggage, you add some kind of tag on it. Or if you don't do that, at least the staff will add a barcode or tag with your luggage. Why they do that? Well, they do it so that they can scan it, they can understand where your luggage is, they can trace it, they can find it, they can filter it out, which means they put some kind of information with your luggage. They attach it. They put some metadata with your luggage. Similarly here, when you create multiple resources for many departments or many projects, to keep a track of what resources are tied with what project or which department, you are given a facility by Azure that is tags. And that's it. Tags are the metadata you add to your resources so that you can find it, locate it, filter it. Okay. So if I go to my resource group first, let's go to resource group, demo. All right, this is my resource group. If I search for tags, as you can see, I don't have any tags. Well, because when I created it, I skipped this part. It's not a compulsion to add tags until unless your company puts a policy which makes it a required field. Now, tags in Azure is just a name and value pair. So I can call it demo, I'll say test. I'm just adding random stuff here. So add your tag. Now, do you think that one luggage in the example may belong to multiple people? In some cases, yeah, why not? Maybe it's a production department of some shooting, right? So one product might be a part of multiple departments. Then you can add multiple tags to it. Similarly, one resource can be used by multiple projects or departments. Then you can also add multiple tags. You can just keep on going. Now apply. And that's it. The tag is now added, demo test. Similarly, you can add tags on your resource. Click on it, tags, and add it here. Remember, tags will not get inherited. You apply it on the scope. Plus, when you create a new resource and you fill your information there, whatever it is, then you move next, next, next. There will be a field called tags, and you can also enter tag over there. It will show you all the available tags, or you can type your own if you want, and then save it. I will not do it because I want to show you something. Now, how will you use tags? Well, tags are not giving you some kind of superpower to apply a setting or change services. No, tags are only used to filter. Now, if you are filtering the tag in budget department, then you can apply a budget on someone. Let's say you want to apply policies on a specific resource. Well, you can use tags to filter out all the resources for a specific project and apply the policy on them. So basically, tags help you to locate or filter the resources. Now, for example, if I go to resource group and here, click on add filter. And I say filter type tags. And there's a tag, demo. OK. And equals to, value is, what was the value? Test. So I'm just saying that show me everything where the tag is demo equal to test, the name and value pair, and apply. And it will show me all the resource groups with tags equal to name and value pair. Again, I did not apply. I said all. Test. Test. I will select that. Apply. Here you go. So it will show me all the resource group in this. So if you have hundreds of resource groups in a big environment, well, this will help you to manage them easily. If you click in the demo, and over here you want to find all the resources specifically for a project, again, you can add a filter. Say I want to filter according to tag equals test. And as you can see, there is no tag for resources. So it will not work because I never applied tags on resources. And that's it. This is your tag. So I hope now you know that even though tags are very simple to apply, it can help specifically in a big environment for easy management. Now, I hope that you know if you want to deploy any resources, you first need to create a resource group. So resource group is just a logical boundary for all the resources which will have the same life cycle. That means if you have 20, 25 resources and they all belong to each other, they are connected, they are for a same project or same department, and they have the same life cycle. That means they are created for a specific reason, they live for that specific reason, and then they will be decommissioned when that specific reason is not valid anymore. So all the resources will stay in one resource group. Yes, it is possible to put multiple resources randomly which belongs to multiple projects in just one resource group, but it is not recommended because if you delete the resource group, all the resources will be gone. So according to the definition, you are supposed to put all the resources sharing similar or same life cycle in one resource group. Now, I have a resource group called demo, and then I have a resource group called network watcher. Don't worry about this name, network watcher. Just pretend that I have two resource groups. Not pretend, actually. I do have two resource groups, but don't worry about this specific name right now. Okay? So if I go to my first resource group, I have resource inside it, one resource. And if I go to this resource group, I have two resources inside it. One network watcher for France Central, one network watcher for this. Again, this is a service which got created automatically when I deployed a virtual network, but not important at this point. Just remember, I have two resource groups with some resources inside it. Now, how can you manage it? Well, you can do certain things to manage your environment. Once you create a resource group, okay, you can deploy multiple resources inside it. All good. If you click on Manage View, here you can change your view environment. You can edit the columns you want to see. You can say, I want to see the overview card as well, show hover card if you want. Then I want simplified view. It gives you a simplified view without any blade, and so on. This is just for easier management. Now, when you click on delete resource group, then the resource group is deleted along with all the resources inside it. It's gone. Let's say you deployed something in your resource group and you're not able to see it here. Well, in that case, you can refresh. Let's say you want to download the information, but in the form of CSV, that is comma-separated value, then, well, you can export it. And then you can use that CSV with your Power BI or any other observability tool. Maybe you want to generate reports for your senior staff, or maybe your boss. You can also run query if you want to, let's say, find something, or you want to scan for a specific resource. Then, if you select a resource, you can also assign tags to it, which we learned already. Plus, this is important, you can move a resource from one resource group to other resource group. You can also move resource from one subscription to another subscription. You can also move one resource from one region to another region. But remember, when you move a resource, well, at that time, be ready for downtime. Because your resource group, the one from where you are moving the resource and the other where it will be moved, both resource groups will be in a lockdown state. Okay? And even if it is just one resource, it will take time to move it. Microsoft creates a buffer environment, then save everything over there, and then it actually finishes the move. So when you're moving, it is not instant. It takes time. Okay? Then you can also delete the selected resources inside a resource group. You can export the template to automate the creation or deployment of that resource. Or you can also open this in mobile. Mobile simply means that it will open in the application on your phone. But remember, that mobile application is pretty limited. You will not get all the bells and whistles there. And that is your resource group. Here you can see the activity log, which means who created what and at what time. You will see all the historical data here. Then you have RBAC. This is where you can assign privileges, permission to a user, group of user, or a service. You can also view your access, like what privilege you have. Or you can check the access for someone else. If you click here and type the username, RSB, let's say, and demo user 2, as you can see, it will show you that this user is actually a reader for this resource group. Maybe I apply this on a subscription level and it got inherited. Perfect. Here you can see the tags. This is nice. Here you can see a visual representation of all the resources inside this resource group. It also shows you the connection if they are connected. Then you have all the events, means what happened and what is actually happening in your environment. Then you have your deployments, right? Then you have your security for this resource group, deployment stacks, what policies you have applied on this resource group, you can see here. Properties of this resource group. Remember, once a resource group is created, you cannot change the name of that resource group. Over here, you can put locks on it. Then you have cost management, where you can create, where you can analyze the cost of this particular resource group. You can create alerts for your cost usage. You can set hard limit budgets on your resource group. You can also see recommendation by Azure to see where you can save some money. Then you have monitoring for all the resources inside this resource group, which show you the insight and also the logs. Then you have automation, for which you can download the template for all the resources. And if you need some assistance from not your help desk, from Microsoft, then you can create a ticket. So that is your resource group. All right, so now let's talk about subscription. Well, I think we already discussed that if you want to create user groups or you want to change some security settings, you don't need subscription. You need subscription if you want to create resources. So under your tenant, you have root management group, and then under your root management group level, you have subscription. So if you search for subscription, right now you will see that I already have one, but in your case, if it is actually a fresh account, Azure will give you few options, or you can say Azure will give you some eligible subscription you can have. It will show you that. You may see free subscription there, which means if you select that option, you will get a subscription with $200 as credit, and it is for 1 month. Now, if you finish that $200 within 1 month, all good, your subscription will be disabled. Or if the 1 month is gone, again, your subscription will be disabled. You get $200 or 1 month. Now, if your subscription get disabled, that means you cannot alter your resource environment. You may see the option of student subscription that gives you $100 for 1 year. So it's either $100 or 1 year of usage. Then you might also see something called pay as you go. Pay as you go means that you use your resource, you create resources, you don't pay anything upfront, but then there will be monthly bill generated and you will receive the invoices. It's kind of like postpaid. You use it and you pay for whatever you used. Then you will also see an option called more subscription, because there are multiple types of subscription. These are the most common one, but then there is scholarship subscription, DevOps subscription, enterprise subscription, M365 subscription, and so on. Basically, Microsoft gives subscription for many use cases. All right, so once you have a subscription, over here, you can either upgrade it from a lower tier to higher tier if you want, okay? Or you can cancel a subscription. When you cancel it, Microsoft takes 3 days to verify that have you paid all your dues or not. Once your due is 0, then after 3 days, Azure will allow you to remove your payment method, means your credit card, and delete that subscription. Here you can rename your subscription if you want. You can also change directory. You can move the subscription from one directory to another directory, and you can give feedback to Microsoft that how awesome the subscription is. This is where you can see the activity logs. Who created what in your environment and at what time. This is what you can see. Then you have RBAC. Here you can apply RBAC permission to give some privilege to a user over your subscription. And remember, this privilege will inherit down to all the resource groups inside this subscription, plus all the resources inside that resource group. Here you can add tags, diagnose and solve problems, securing your subscription. These are advanced options. Then you have your resource visualizer, that what do you have in this subscription? Well, I have a VNet and 2 network watcher services under this subscription. Then you have events, like what is happening in your environment, all the resource group inside this subscription, all the resources inside your subscription. Then you have cost management, billing, setting, and help. That was your subscription. One more point before I stop the video. How can you define subscription? Well, the definition for subscription is pretty easy. You can say that subscription is a mechanism which calculates the cost of the resource usage and also create a boundary for resource usage. So 2 things. It creates first of all, it creates a boundary, it creates a usage scope. That means if you are subscribed, you can use certain resources, but you have to stay within the boundary. So you can say some kind of authentication and authorization. It authorizes you to use certain kind of resources, to create certain kind of resources at certain kind of environment. If you don't have the subscription, then you will not be allowed to do certain things. So it authorizes you to take action to create resources, plus it also calculates the cost of resource usage. Now you know what subscription is and where to find it. All right, so now let's see if in the environment you have a subscription, you have resource groups, you have resources inside it, and everybody is using it. How can you make sure that the usage cost stays in your budget? Because you cannot trust your employees that they will not make any mistake. Maybe they created multiple machines and they forgot to actually shut it down. And it's running all night, all day. Well, you have to pay for it. In that case, you have to use the functionality of Azure, that is cost control. So Azure provides a unified dashboard. If you go to cost management, you will see this unified dashboard where you have all the cost management services. That is creating alerts, creating budgets, analyzing your cost, generating reports that which department is using how much money, and so on. So what is cost management? A unified dashboard to show you or to give you all cost management related services. Now, if you go to reporting and analysis, here you can analyze what your environment is costing you. So my subscription is not super old, but it's still pretty much, I think, a month old. So yes, I have used some resources. So if I go to cost analysis and open all views, here I can see the cost. For example, let's click on accumulated cost. In September 2025, I can change the time I want. I can say, hey, show me the 7 days, how much I actually used. Well, absolutely nothing, just $1.50. But you got my point. Or you can say, don't show me accumulated cost, show me resource group wise. So I can click on resource group and show me September 25, the whole month. Well, here you go. I have one resource group called demo, and it costed me $4.61. If I drop it down, then I can see the firewall costed me 93 cents. My virtual machine number 1 costed me 71 cents, 67 cents. My hard drive costed me this, and so on. Plus, you can also download this to give it to your boss so that he can also make a decision. So I hope you got my point on reporting and analysis. Here you can also export this to, let's say, as Excel sheet or CSV sheet, and you want to plug it in with your observability tools like Power BI or Grafana or something like that. Then you have monitoring. Here you can create cost alert and budgets. Now, when you create cost alert, of course, you need to create alert rules. Alert rule simply means that, hey, when the cost reaches 90% of my budget, send me a call or notification, send me email stating that, hey, there is an alert which got triggered, so go back to your environment and figure it out, fix it. So if you go to cost alert, click on add. Well, you just follow the prompt and you create your alert. Now the alert type, right now I cannot do this because I am not the billing administrator. But if you are the billing administrator, means you are allowed to change things in billing environment, then you can create alerts. These are alert rules, means the conditions you create. Again, same thing. Then you create budgets. This is where you add the hard cap. Let's say you have $100,000 as a budget. Well, you can set it up, or you can divide it for multiple subscription. You can say HR will take, let's say, $10,000, IT $10,000 per month, research and development $20,000. Well, you can create that. Plus, you can also decide that will this budget reset every month, quarterly, or yearly? It all depends on your configuration and your scenario. And this is where you add the amount. Like this is, let's say, my budget. Of course not, but yeah, you got the point. So now you know that in Azure, you go to cost management to either create reports on your expense, analyze your expense, generate reports again, export it, create cost alert, create alert rules. Yeah, you have to do both together. Create budgets, and then you have your optimization as well, where Azure will give you some recommendation. But now, when you create your account for the very first time, it takes time for Azure to scan it. Once it scans your environment, then Azure can give you some recommendation like, hey, your machine number 1 is on, and I see it's always on. Maybe you turn it off when you don't use it. Well, that is a recommendation. If you follow it, you can save some cost. Reservation and hybrid. Again, this is awesome. Here you can ask Azure that, listen, I want to reserve specific resource for 1 year or 2 year. In that case, you have to pay upfront, but Azure can give you heavy discounts. Again, you will save some money. This is where you will create your saving plans. Then you have settings. Well, here you can configure your cost allocation, means this much goes to HR, this much goes to different subscription, this much goes to the third subscription, and so on. Then you have configuration. Basically, it is the shortcut to all the services we already checked. Then we have some preview feature. These are the brand new feature Azure is just putting in the environment. When it gets stable, it will become permanent. Then you have billing. This is where you will see your invoices. Simply means that how much you owe, what you have to pay this month. Payment method. This is where you will see the payment method, your credit card. Well, you can have one credit card. You can also have multiple payment methods if you want. Now, this is where you will see your subscription, which is tied with this billing account. Then, if you want to raise a ticket and get support from Azure, you have new support request. So that was your cost management dashboard and these services inside it. Now, before I go, let me show you one more thing, which we already discussed. That is management group. Now, what is management group? Well, just like your resource group, which provides you a logical boundary to manage all the resources, having a common life cycle, management group provide a logical boundary to manage all the subscriptions. So imagine that in your company, there are in total 3 main departments, let's say, big departments. One is production, one is testing department, and one is, let's say, administration, right? You want different people to manage these environments separately. You don't want it to get mixed. In that case, you can create a management group. All it takes is click on create, put a name, and that's it. You create a management group. In our example, you can create 3 management groups called HR management group. Then you can create a production management group. Then you can create, let's say, administration management group. Now, in HR management group, you can buy or you can get some licenses and subscription. Sorry for that, not licenses. Licenses are on the tenant level. You can get subscription and then put those subscription under HR management. Then you will get more subscription and put it under production management group. Then you get more subscription and put under your administration management group. So what will happen now? Every management group along with the subscription will manage its own bubble. And you can assign the contributor or owner of that management group to an employee. So now you have hired 3 people or three employees you can trust and gave them the authority to manage their own management groups. And this is how you create the skeleton, the structure, the architecture, the hierarchy of your business. All right? So the sequence goes like, I'm repeating it. First, you will have a tenant. Inside the tenant, you will have a root management group. Under that root management group, you can have multiple more management groups, but at the same level. Now, under that management group, you can have multiple subscriptions. Now, under subscriptions, you can have resource groups. Under those resource groups, you can have resources. So I hope now you know what management group is all about.
All right, so in this video, we covered how to implement Azure policies, set up resource locks, apply tags to those resources. And we also saw how to manage resource groups and subscriptions, control cost using budgets and Azure Advisor. And we also saw that you can organize multiple subscriptions with the help of management groups. Now, in the next video, we will move into networking and cover how to configure and manage virtual networks in Azure. So don't miss it. And be there in the next video. Until then, take care.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.